Have you ever experienced a life transition where you felt as though your body lacked the strength it formerly possessed? You're wondering what to do with your house now that it feels too huge and empty. Society frequently provides a hasty response. Perhaps it's time to leave everything you know and go into a nursing home if you are unable to care for yourself as you once did. Is that your only choice, though? The realities of nursing homes, the psychological and unseen costs of leaving your house, and the benefits of aging with dignity in your current residence will all be covered in this movie. Because decisions pertaining to your future deserve more than hasty fixes. Stick with us through to the very finish. You'll find pathways that can change your later years by the end. I would really appreciate it if you enjoyed this video before we start. It enables me to continue offering significant insights regarding aging. In order to avoid missing any upcoming content, please take a moment to subscribe and turn on the bell if you haven't already. Leave the first comment if you enjoy the video. If not, leave the first remark so I know how to make it better for you. In the first place. The reality of nursing homes. When individuals discuss nursing homes, they frequently use rosy brochures and sentimental language that create an idealized image, a dignified existence for the aged, a safe environment, and careful care. They guarantee a place where your needs will be professionally and humanely attended to. However, the truth about those assurances is frequently much less consoling. Nursing facilities are ultimately businesses. They must control costs, oversee employees, and maintain efficient operations. This frequently results in care, which ought to come first, being neglected. One of the biggest problems is understaffing. During a shift, a single caregiver may be in charge of 10, 15, or even 20 residents, each of whom has unique daily emotional and medical needs. Despite being incredibly overworked, caregivers are typically devoted individuals. Neglect in this case is not motivated by malice. The cause of it is burnout. Basic care like bathing or repositioning may be hurried or not done at all, medications may be delayed, and calls for assistance may go unanswered for hours. The outcome, since no one is there to assist them, many inhabitants endure prolonged periods of loneliness, suffering, and discomfort. The loss of autonomy is another unpleasant feature. Institutions' strict procedures suit the facility's requirements rather than the residents' wishes. Even if you're not hungry, you eat when the dining hall opens at 7:03 a.m. Even if you would rather take a bath later, you do it whenever the caregiver has a time slot available. Regardless of your own rhythm, lights go off at a set hour. Choosing what to eat, drinking coffee on the veranda, and sleeping whenever you want are all things that vanish from your life. All that's left is a strict routine that disregards your uniqueness. Many people don't care about that. It's incarceration. Along with the loneliness, it's a gradual erasing of the person you used to be, the cruelest blow of all, perhaps. Visits are frequented initially, friends, kids, and grandchildren. However, outer life eventually moves on. Schedule conflicts occur, commitments increase, friends also grow older and more confined. Before long, the corridors are quiet. Days go by slowly, interrupted only by the TV or a nurse's hurried footsteps. According to studies, social isolation in these settings is a quiet epidemic that is associated with increased rates of anxiety, sadness, and even deterioration in physical health. Therefore, take a moment to think before you sign a contract or start packing. Do you want to spend your last years like this? Have you ever imagined receiving this kind of care for a loved one or yourself? 2. The psychological burden of moving a home is more than just a house. Your story is reflected in it. You prepared family meals there, saw your kids walk for the first time, rejoiced in happy occasions, and experienced heartbreaking losses. Every little item, like a scrape on the floor, faded paint, or a creaking staircase, evokes memories of your life. Therefore, leaving is more than just a relocation when the time comes, whether it's due to necessity or choice. Long after the box is opened, there is still a profound emotional jolt. It can feel like a betrayal of all you've worked so hard to achieve. Memories resurface in waves as you make your final tour of the rooms. Sunlight coming in through the window, family dinners, and peaceful evenings. Packing is more than just arranging items. It's about making decisions about which aspects of your life will change and which will remain the same. Someone else will now own the garden you cared for decades and the recliner you used to soothe your kids. A fear of losing control is reinforced by every choice. What many older folks already believe is supported by research. Devastating consequences result from leaving a familiar setting before feeling fully prepared. Seniors who leave their homes too soon are more likely to experience anxiety, despair, and even cognitive deterioration, according to studies. The brain finds it difficult to adjust to something new since it is used to the familiar surroundings and daily schedule of home. Within a few months of moving into care facilities, older persons' memory and problem-solving skills declined, only because they were taken out of their familiar surroundings, according to a research published in the Journal of Gerontology. Losing a physical area isn't the only issue. It has to do with relinquishing the position you had there. You were the host, the decision-maker, and the preserver of customs in your own home. That job vanishes in a new setting, particularly an institution. You become just another name on a chart and lose your role as host. This change is seen by many as a loss of identity. It can be like having your story cut short in the middle of a phrase when you close a chapter of your life before you're ready. Because of this, it's crucial to consider both the practical and emotional aspects of the situation when you're at a crossroads. Is it possible to retain more than just your address by remaining at home longer with the correct assistance? Would it protect your identity? 3 is a tragic irony that nursing homes pose invisible health risks. Many people chose nursing homes in the hope of receiving the greatest care possible as they age, only to learn that these facilities may actually hasten the deterioration of their health. A disturbing fact has been emerging from research. It is true that living in an institution might shorten life expectancy. However, why does this occur? There are numerous reasons, many of which are connected to the surroundings of these facilities, as well as the significant lifestyle adjustments they force. Loss of independence and physical activity is one of the primary causes. When an older adult enters a nursing home, they leave behind activities like cooking, cleaning, or gardening that, although exhausting, kept their bodies and minds busy. These easy activities provide excitement, exercise, and a sense of purpose. But in a nursing home, the staff takes care of such duties, and daily life becomes more sedentary. According to studies, this decrease in activity causes immune system weakness, muscular loss, and even an acceleration of cognitive decline. In contrast to those who stayed at home with assistance, older persons who moved into care facilities saw a marked deterioration in mobility and cognitive function within 6 months. According to a 2018 study published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society, infection is another risk that is frequently disregarded. Nursing homes provide the perfect environment for the spread of disease, since they house a large number of susceptible people in close quarters. One of the main causes of death for the elderly, pneumonia, spreads readily in these environments, particularly among residents who have respiratory conditions or limited movement. Dehydration or neglecting personal hygiene can exacerbate urinary tract infections, which are also frequent. Sepsis, a hazardous inflammatory reaction that can result in organ failure, can develop from these infections in extreme circumstances. Compared to seniors who live independently, residents of nursing homes are far more likely to get hospital-acquired infections, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC. Furthermore, these settings are susceptible to infection because to sporadic outbreaks of bacteria resistant to antibiotics, such as MRSA, or viruses such as the flu. However, the effects go beyond the physical realm. Additionally, there is an emotional cost. Relocating to a care home breaks off relationships with loved ones, support systems, and familiar settings. This frequently results in despair and loneliness, which worsens general health. According to the findings, living at home with some assistance is frequently a safer and healthier choice for people who are still able to do so. Despite their promises of care, nursing homes might actually hasten deterioration. Please leave the second remark below if you're still watching and think these reflections are important. Additionally, this is a wonderful opportunity to activate the notification bell and subscribe if you haven't already. Your assistance enables us to keep producing informative and motivational content. The fourth option is to age in place with careful preparation. What is the best course of action in light of the possible risks associated with nursing homes? A developing movement that ages in place holds the key to the solution. As you age, this entails remaining in your own house, with alterations and support networks catered to your particular need. It's not about holding on to independence at all costs or being obstinate. Instead, the goal is to create a safe, useful, and pleasurable environment so that you can live a long, healthy, and dignified life. Adapting the surroundings is the cornerstone of aging well at home. Little adjustments can have a big impact. Installing grab bars in the restroom significantly lowers the chance of falls, which are one of the main reasons why seniors are hurt. An average home can be made more accessible by installing a stair lift, enhancing lighting, or widening entrances for wheelchairs or walkers. Technology is also very important. Peace of mind can be obtained by wearing medical alert devices such as necklaces or bracelets that can be pressed to summon assistance. Smart home appliances, motion-activated lights, and voice help can improve comfort and ease daily tasks. However, bodily changes are only one aspect of aging in situ. Creating a solid support system is also important. Autonomy is maintained without compromising care when caregivers come in a few hours each day or a few times per week to assist with cleaning, meals, or medicine. Healthcare providers can offer in-home services like physical therapy or wound care in the convenience of your living room when medical attention is required. Maintaining social ties is crucial in addition to seeking expert assistance. Regular activities, phone calls, and visits are ways that friends and family can provide support. Additionally important are volunteer programs and senior centers, which provide social interaction as well as useful amenities like transportation. This model's advantages are widely known. According to an AARP analysis from 2020, seniors who age at home with the right support report higher levels of satisfaction, reduced rates of despair, and better general health than those who live in facilities. This may also be a more cost-efficient option. Compared to the $4,000 to $8,000 per month that care facilities charge, it is frequently less expensive to modify a home and hire part-time assistants. Naturally, there is no one-size-fits-all approach here. It calls for preparation, resources, and occasionally concessions. Surrounded by the memories that have always been a part of their tale, it is, nonetheless, the ideal way for many people to keep control over their own life, protect their dignity, and live longer. The fifth is the ability to maintain control over your life. Every day is a gift, an opportunity to live, love, and create your own destiny. Growing older just changes that gift, not diminishes it. Growing older shouldn't mean sacrificing your ability to wake up with a sense of security, worth, and control over your life. Regretfully, society frequently leads us to assume that growing older equates to becoming dependent and losing one's independence. However, things don't have to be that way. Growing older can be a fresh start and a chance to rediscover what it means to be independent. Consider the many other options before deciding on a nursing home. Create a support system by relying on close friends, relatives, or reliable neighbors who can be in the area. Modify your area, add grab bars, move furniture, and spend money on safety features. Your capacity to live comfortably where you've always lived can be extended for years with these small adjustments. Services for in-home care are an effective instrument. Everything can be customized to meet your needs, from infrequent nursing visits to caregivers who assist with everyday duties like cooking or taking a shower. The most crucial rule is to never make snap judgments, particularly when they impact your freedom. After a medical emergency or as a result of pressure from well-meaning but ignorant family members, many people wind themselves in institutions. Give yourself enough time to think, seek advice from professionals, and trust your gut. You can keep your independence for a lot longer than you may believe if you plan ahead. You don't have to lose control as you get older. In fact, it might be the time you take charge with greater power, knowledge, and insight. Sixth, the financial burden. Nursing homes' hidden costs. It's time to look more closely if you've always thought that the only purpose of nursing homes is to provide comfort and care. The financial impact can be enormous and far greater than most people think. The financial strain that these facilities inflict on the family as a whole, not just the person moving in, is among the most compelling arguments against making snap judgments. Let's discuss numbers. The monthly cost of a nursing home might vary from $4,000 to $12,000 depending on the area. That equates to $48,000 to $144,000 a year, and those numbers do not account for additional costs, such as physical therapy, prescription drugs, or care for illnesses like Parkinson's or dementia, which may easily double the sum. Now consider the long term. We're talking about total expenses ranging from $240,000 to more than $1 million if someone remains in one of these facilities for 5 to 10 years. What do you receive in exchange? A communal restroom, flimsy walls, a tiny room, and a worn-out staff with little time to provide individualized care. Contrary to popular belief, these costs will not be covered by governmental programs such as Medicare or retirement funds. For instance, Medicare in the U.S. only pays for brief hospital stays, and even then under very specific guidelines. Medicaid only provides assistance to people who have very little assets, which may require selling a home or using up lifelong savings. What about private insurance? Long-term care isn't usually covered. Many families thus have to sell their homes, incur debt, or spend all of the money they have saved up over the course of their lives. Now contrast that with alternative options, paying for a caretaker for a few hours each week, which might cost $5,000 to $10,000 annually, or making a $5,000 investment in house adaptations like ramps or an accessible restroom. Living with a relative may be a more cost-effective and compassionate option in some circumstances, allowing expenses to be split and emotional ties to be maintained. These choices are richer in all the important things, in addition to being less expensive: freedom, familiarity, and connection. In actuality, the majority of people wind up in nursing homes because they are unaware of their options rather than because they lack options. Insufficient knowledge, anxiety, and the societal tendency to view nursing homes as the default option result in hasty and frequently unpleasant judgments. Power comes from knowledge. Look into regional initiatives, consult experts, learn about community support and subsidies. This type of preparation can mean the difference between a life with few options and one with many. Although nursing homes may appear to be a safety net, many people find them to be a silent pit, spiritually, emotionally, and monetarily. Number 7, the effect on the mind. There is much more to moving into a care home than just relocating. It frequently marks the start of a profound detachment from our humanity, identity, and purpose. Following this shift, many elderly persons have a rapid decrease, which is widely observed and supported by studies. Furthermore, physical health isn't necessarily the cause. The loss of meaning is frequently at risk. Consider what it's like to live in your own house, despite its constraints. You choose what to eat for morning, when to get up, how to take care of your plants, how to pet your pet, whether to crochet, or whether to look through old photo albums. Every little decision you make keeps your spirit alive, your heart warm, and your mind engaged. Now picture being deprived of those options. Routines are standardized in nursing facilities. Meals are cooked by others without your personal touch and served at set times. Events are planned, music at 4, bingo at 2. There isn't much space for spontaneity or doing what you enjoy. Your room becomes into a generic place with schedules, rules, and limitations, when it should be a haven for your individuality. As the sense of losing control grows, so does the perception that one is no longer important and is merely another name on a file. However, staying at home alters everything. Being surrounded by familiar walls isn't enough. It's about preserving your soul. You are still the author of your story, even if you require assistance with more difficult tasks. You choose which book to spend hours reading, which flower to grow, and when to turn on the radio. Your identity is reaffirmed by these small decisions. They serve as a manner of bucking the notion that growing older entails disappearing. When viewed this perspective, old age is not a sign of decline, it's an act of defiance, a fresh start with purpose. Every decision you make, no matter how minor, serves to reinforce your identity. As we get older, society forces us to give up our originality for ease and our independence for safety. Is the cost, however, excessive? For alleged protection, are you willing to give up the comforts of your own home, the independence of your schedule, and the honor of living your life as you see fit? Is it worth the effort? You can choose. And it is deserving of respect. Yes, aging presents obstacles. There are difficult days, suffering, and constraints. None of it, however, implies that you have to cede control of your life. A caretaker is able to transport groceries. Medication can be given by a nurse. What makes your life meaningful, however, is up to you. Remaining at home is more than just a sensible choice. It's a spiritual and emotional declaration. It's about safeguarding your truth, your ideals, and your story. And as the years pass, that becomes even more valuable. Nobody should ever tell you that your tale is over. You own this chapter. Additionally, it can be as vivid, profound, and unforgettable as any other. I want you to think, what knowledge do you currently possess regarding aging, autonomy, and decision-making? The realities of nursing homes, the emotional strain of leaving home, or the strength that comes from aging at home with assistance may have taken you by surprise. Post one takeaway from this video in the comments section. Others who must make the same choices may find inspiration in your story. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content. You still have the ability to shape your journey into what you desire. Let's continue this discussion.